Very warm welcome to Food Forward 2025 Innovations and Actions to Reduce Food Loss and Waste in India. This is the fourth webinar in the series of webinar hosted by WRI India under its Friends of Champions 12.3 India network. The main objective of this, the series of webinar is to not only amplify the awareness on food loss and waste, but also to pick apart, the different layers of this complex problem, to spotlight different innovations and actions that are, that are working on ground in the country to combat this issue. And on that note, the fourth one will be focused, titled Strengthening Capacity at the Last Mile for Food Loss Reduction. It will be focused on, grassroots innovations, as well as, really innovative technologies that are at work that enable farmers to reduce post-harvest losses. And we'll be joined by, experts from these organizations, and will be moderated by Ms. Ritoja Basu, Program Head, Food Loss and Waste. And without much ado, let me hand it over to Ritoja and our experts. Welcome, Ritoja.
Thank you, Anar. I hope I'm on. Our fourth webinar in the Food Forward series. We have to introduce them. We have with us today Dr. Rajeshri Joshi, Program Director of PIF. We have with us today Dr. Vivek Sharma, Founder and Chairman, Center for Agricultural Development, CARD. We also have Sorry, I think my network got lost.
Yes, Ritoja, we missed the last 1 minute. If you were just introducing the panelists.
Yes, so sorry. So just once again, quickly running through the amazing panelists that we have today. We have with us Dr. Rajeshri Joshi today, Program Director from PIF. We have Dr. Vivek Sharma, Founder and Chairman, CARD. We have Mr. Ashwini Pawade, who's co-founder S4S Technologies. And we have Mr. Nihar Priyadarshi, who's lead Samunnati. So without further ado, may I request our panelists for a brief 2-minute presentation on their organizations they do around the topic. So may I first request Dr. Rajeshri, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ritoja, can I request presentation, please? And good afternoon all. So my slides, please.
Yes, Dr. Joshi, just coming.
Sure. So, if you want, I can also share. Let me know. In the meantime, I think this is very important webinar or very important topic, and all of us are aware how now circularity and the entire food systems approach is taking center stage, and And the theme of today's webinar is innovations and actions to reduce food loss and waste in India. And within that, I think whatever work we are doing as buyers, where we have a presence across multiple states, and we have focused on food loss and food waste as a theme, also as a part of our strategy. Next action, please. Next slide, please. So here we will be focusing on last mile farmers outreach and adoption of strategies and innovations. So our entire work around food loss and food waste is because there are several pain points. We can go to next slide, please. is because there are several pain points which are faced at the level of farmer also, and a whole lot of issue when it comes to the losses that are there experienced at the level of farmers, as well as I think it kind of compromises the overall income and gain that one can have. Can we go to next slide, please? There is some time we have. Yeah, sure. So yeah, please, we can wait here. So this first slide was on nature positive solutions. So the entire effort within BIF is when we are working on food loss, food waste, how best we can introduce certain actions around food losses and food waste so that there is a nature positive outcomes and it can have a multiple effects on ecology, on ecosystem, as well as on economics, and as well as social outcomes are there. So where we have, what we have done is we have also developed a circular bioeconomy innovation hub. So the whole focus of innovation hub is to create a central portal which can bring together different stakeholders and different players who are working on food loss issue, and there are various aspects of food loss issue, taking technologies, taking trainings, taking awareness generation, as well as commodity specific approaches. So we are trying to work on that. And here the focus is also identifying the models which can have a positive models like circularity, generation of local employment, and resource flow kind of objectives. And through that, for that, this is a kind of emerging issue, emerging in the sense lot needs to be understood as far as the food loss, food waste is concerned. So here we are also trying to identify the innovative solutions. Next, please. So we have kind of trying to onboard various partners. It can be private entities. We can go to next slide. So this can be private entities, it can be startups, it can be farmers, of course, and it can be ICR institutes like Department of DOGR, which is government level institute, and then there are KVKs as well as NGOs like BIF who can play a very important extension role. Next, please. We are with when we are talking about food losses, I think as I said, the production level also there are a lot of losses in terms of damages because of pest and pest incidents, and therefore we are also trying to work around simple technology like solar insect trap. These are also the thing. There are damages and losses because of the wildlife attacks. So here we are also working on technologies like solar fencing, which can give a little bit of crop protection. And with S4S, I can see Ashwin here. So with S4S and other type of such technology providers, we are also working on post-harvest value addition and increasing shelf life. So solar dehydrated products out of fruits and vegetables is something we are also working. Next, please. So these are some of the areas I am trying to talk about is one is production level losses. Also, there are issues like mycotoxin, and these type of issues are fungus. These type of issues are also there during the harvesting. So we have worked on the grain-proof bags. So these are simple technologies which are proven. And the only thing is that from land to lab, extension is required and availability of those technologies is required. Awareness generation is required. Can we go to next slide, please? And so that is also something that we are trying to do. Now, when it comes to, I think, food losses during harvesting, value addition, and transportation, here also we have worked with some of these startups. These are like IIT Mumbai-led startup who have worked on Sabji Cooler. There are some startups who have worked on vegetable cart, solar e-cart, or there are technologies like hot and cold where the cold storage, the excess energy can be used also for dehydration or drying. So those type of things, simple solutions at the level of farmer. What is the problem? Gap is the technologies are high for large farmer or for a group of farmers. But I think essentially India is a smallholder-led farming system. So we have to have a solutions which are region specific and small scale. Next, please. And this is my last slide, I think. Next slide is last slide, where we have worked with WRI and very important partnership. I think the partnership with WRI we have helped us to understand the losses and understanding the nature of losses, also the overall scope for intervention, in few commodities like onions, custard apples. So we have done some survey, try to understand the pain points and pressing needs, and try to understand what could be those technology gaps, and basis of which we are working on various models, designs in terms of structure, in terms of IoT-based sensors for humidity and temperature monitoring. So various such technology solutions are there. Next, please. So these are simple. Again, here also there are solutions available at a large farmers level or FPO level. Same way, we have also worked on processing to increase the shelf life. We have a lot of FPOs who are working on mango, cashew, amla type of products and converting them into value-added products for marketing. And whole lot of focus is also on training of farmers, because farmers are aware, a little bit aware, but they are disorganized. So we need to create that together. That's so next please. Last slide is yeah. So this is all in terms of kind of work that I is doing. And my colleague Sagar is here, Sagar Kada, who is working with WRI team. So if there are any questions, we would be happy to answer. So thank you, and a lot of work still needs to be done, but I think this is just a beginning and kind of awareness generation of the kind of work we are doing in Bayer on focusing on few commodities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Rituja, your connection is back. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Joshi. I mean, we would want to learn more about the work that you're doing, and we will, of course, learn more through follow-up questions. I now request Dr. Sharma to briefly describe the innovations for his organization around food loss.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Vivek Sharma represent NGO CARD. CARD is Center for Advanced Research and Development, not agriculture. It's Center for acronym A is for Advanced Research and Development. We are working on 3-4 different verticals, and mainly we are a livelihood promotion organization. And when we say livelihood, it's agriculture, livestock, anti-FP, and other, and skill and human development. Work on that. At the same time, we work on 3 different verticals. In this sense, we are our main focus is on field facilitation of programs. These are government programs as well as CSR programs, so that the development innovations that reach to the masses. We work with around more than 1 lakh households across 7 states in India. Second is our wing. We're doing some research, which includes evaluation, monitoring, studies, and in this vertical, we are also supporting WRI in doing some field studies. And third is building capacities. We build capacities of farmers, women, and other. It's basically skill program as well. As far as coming to this subject, food losses, in fact, when we work with farmers, our basic objective is to increase their income. And to increase their income, the 2 criteria which used to be major in the beginning. One was to increase production, or second was to reduce cost. Either you increase production and give them more profit, or you reduce cost. And third is very important, which has come up now. I think it's handling food losses at different stages. At the farm level, we see the losses start from the when the output is when it's flowering, when it's harvest is it's about to be harvested, even after harvest, and it's going for the value chain. At every stage you need to have some intervention. So we work on these aspects. We have one component where we help establish agri-entrepreneurs, and we have supported more than 600 agri-entrepreneurs. We give them 45 days residential training, and after the training, they are given soft loans, either 20 lakh loan with 40% subsidy, and we support them in establishing a new venture, and all of them almost we trained more than 1,000, and out of them 70% have established their venture. So we supported this. At the same time, as Ma'am Rajshri was saying, we are also doing solar-based applications. We have a technology resource center in a very interior area of Manda. It's a Gogri block, one very gender-positive block, but otherwise very backward. And we have set up a technology resource center there and work with different technologies for the processing of their produce. It's NTFP as well as agriculture, especially oil seeds. And we have our products in market, especially our honey. Madura honey is very famous now. It's being sold all over India across at the counters of this is tribal. So they're being sold from there. We and in addition, we have done supported Ministry of Non-Renewable Energy in promoting solar applications at different levels, like it can be solar bulb, it can be solar cooker, and many others. At the same time, we're supporting SHG networks. At present, we are working with more than 4,000 SHGs, and these women in SHGs have to be promoted for their income generation, and mostly because they are all farmers, almost 70 to 80, 90% they are farmers. So you have to support farming sector. In supporting farming sector, we go for small capacity storage. Even we promoted one ZECC, zero energy cooling chamber, and do some experiment like this. We're also supporting one initiative of tourism ministry. That's basically safe tourism and home-based tourism. In the home-based tourism, it's basically we are working with the tribals who are staying in interior areas, and we support them in building a good room so that tourists can come and they can prepare and serve their own food. So this is basically it's their food is promoted as well. And in addition, we are a skill-based organization and supported more than 30,000 people in skill application. I'm sorry I could not send my presentation. I was will be open for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. Very, very interesting points around how it is critical to work towards improving production as well as reducing food loss and waste towards ensuring best outcomes for the small and marginal farmers that we have. Moving on, may I now request Ashwin for his brief presentation on his innovation and approach to solving the problem of food loss.
Thank you, Rutuja, and thank you, WRI, for this opportunity. I am Ashwin. I am one of the co-founders of As Technology. We are one of the foremost full-stack agri-processing platform. Our model works with starting the VLCCs, village level collection centers, from where we buy directly from the farmers various agriculture commodities like horticulture commodities like onion, ginger, turmeric, garlic, tomato, which are in excess in that area. Also, recently we have started procuring and processing grains. So once we buy this, we through our VLCCs, which are operated by Mumbatai, which are basically the rural women who are trained to identify the quality, negotiate with the farmers, and buy this produce directly from the farmer without any middleman. Once all this produce is aggregated, we segregate it based on the quality. A grade, usually we sell it off with better rates, and B and C grade material, which is just cosmetically inferior as against the table variety, goes again back to the villages from where we have procured this, which is within the 5 to 10 kilometers radius. There, our processing part starts, where we have developed various technologies for processing these agriculture commodities. For example, for processing the horticulture crops, we have developed solar dehydration units where a group of 3 or 5 women process 1 to 1.5 tons of material, agri material every day. Again, for grain, we have developed various technologies which again work with renewable energy as a power source. to convert grains into value-added products like beans into pulses, or corn or maize grains into value-added products like grits or starch, and so on and so forth. So all this material is then collected back from these processors. We pay them the processing fees. All this material is we do the secondary processing and other value addition which is required by our end clients, and we sell it off to them. By doing so, we try to control whole of the value chain and uh, try to give better remuneration to the farmers for their produce, as well as by doing the primary processing on the field itself, we reduce the transport costs drastically, and thus are able to share the profits with the processors as against processing it in a centralized factory. And that's how our model works. Currently, we are present in 4 states in Maharashtra, uh, uh, Odisha, Andhra, and recently we have started few units in MP. Outside India, also we are trying to see the viability of our model, starting with West Africa in general, and specifically we are working in Ghana. So that's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwin. We are aware of S4S and the very innovative technology of bringing the technology to the farm gate and actually reducing the cost for farmers. Again, would love to learn more about that, and we'll come back to that. Moving to our next panelist, Nihar, requesting you for your insights on Samunati's approach towards solving food loss.
Neha,
You're on mute, Nihar.
yeah.
Sorry, extremely sorry. I am muted. So, good evening, everyone. Samunati is a Sanskrit word, collective growth, collective prosperity. It's a group of companies. Parent is a non-banking financial company, Samunati Finance Private Limited. And we have Samunati Agri Value Chain Solutions Private Limited and Samunati Foundation. I am representing Samunati Foundation. So under this foundation, we are mostly taking out developmental activities, particularly focused on FPO's institutional capacity building and strengthening, gender mainstreaming, skill building, as well as climate smart agriculture. Likely, when it comes to food waste and loss, we are also piloting many initiatives in many states, particularly dehydrating many vegetables and converting into value-added products, particularly using vegetables, particularly tomato, brinjal, chili, as well as cucumber, some cases is bitter gourd. So in Madhya Pradesh also this year we are trying to make some value-added product by using mahua, particularly laddus, biscuits, as well as some, along with dry fruits, some other valued products that can be fetch some value to the smallholder farmers and tribal women. Particularly, if see the livelihood of the smallholder farmers and tribal women, all our FPCs promoted under foundation are tribal women, and all are belongs to marginal smallholder farmers. So for them, livelihood option is very mostly, in some cases forest is their NTP produces their source of livelihood, and small cases vegetable source of livelihood. So we are trying to minimize their loss by converting them into value-added products. In some cases, this year we are also trying to start maize procurement at their doorstep, particularly C-grade maize that should be provided to our some of the poultry feed or cattle feed. We are trying to do this. Under this WRI assignment, we have also trained the 3,000 farmers in Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, particularly tomato and orange value chain, so that post-harvest loss can be minimized.
Thank you.
That's not from
Thank you,
my side.
Nihar. Very interesting work. Thank you. Very interesting insights from all our panelists. I now move on to a few more detailed questions to learn more about your work. And I also request all our participants to please put their questions for panelists on chat. We will be taking them up as well as we go through the webinar. So Rajshri, coming to you first, if I may. While you have talked about the kind of technologies and especially low cost technology have made available for the small farmers, we wanted to understand how do you design and deliver these outreach strategies that both address awareness as well as take care of adoption for loss reduction practices?
Yeah, sure. So I would request Salve, my colleague, to answer. Thank you.
So basically, we are working with a small and marginal farmer. So WRI is closely working, mostly working with ground level. So the approach is because we understand the ground level challenges. So based on the challenges, so we generally discuss with the farmers the challenges that they are facing related to food waste, food loss, and then based on that, we create awareness through conducting meetings, and then we organize some demonstration, and then so we demonstrate some technologies so that they can reduce the food waste and food loss by immersing technology. So so this is our strategy, and then related to the we also conducted the exposure visits to the farmers, to nearby institutes, or the farmer producer organizations, or the processing units, to basically to demonstrate the technology. So they can then adopt that technology very well. So based on this, so we conducted. So other than this, we also conducted the training programs, on-field training programs, and then our field team, those who are working closely with the farmers, and so day-to-day operations. So we can solve this problem at a ground level. So our field team, those who are present in that at that location, so they can support continuously, and they give hand-holding support to the farmers, and they demonstrate all this technology. So this is our approach related to outreach of the strategy, and awareness creation related to reduce the food waste and food loss.
Thank you. So if I am to understand right, through your field officers, you first do the outreach and awareness, and after that, you bring in the technology adoption after understanding what the exact pain points are of those farmers in localized conditions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to Dr. Sharma, what models, considering that 86% of our farmers are small and marginal, and there is a need, and they have a whole different set of challenges. What models have you found effective in aggregating smallholder producers towards being able to reduce losses at scale?
Sure, thank you. As I told earlier, we work with the farmers. It's a big number, almost I think as of now maybe 1 lakh farmers. And out of them, as you stated very well, most of them, they are small and marginal. When you work with small and marginal farmers, there are definite challenges because their produce is small and their resources are less. So it becomes very difficult for them. Now, again, these farmers are not only agriculturists, they are pastoral. They keep livestock as well. And they also bring some NTF because we work in mostly in tribal areas and interior areas. So they have a lot of surplus which is perishable. Good thing is that the most perishable milk, we are able to handle it now very well thanks to a model. It's going everywhere. Our state, every state now has a model. They have their own processing and everything, and that has already been taken. But when coming to vegetables and fruits, some of our fruits, especially in these areas where we work, like custard apple or jamun, I don't know, sorry, forgotten the name in English, and khirni. Khirni is again, it's a tribal produce. Some of these produce, which is now, when it comes to market, it's sold in 100 gram, 50 gram packages. But whereas, when you see there in the field, I think heaps of that goes in waste because there is no immediate handling, there is no marketing, and unfortunately, there is nothing, storage as well. Again, coming to vegetables, tomato, onion, and other leafy products. Especially with tomato and onion, we have problems. Tomato, we have already worked with WRI, come up with some solutions. Onion is still we working on. As Dr. Ashri showed, we also have similar kind of storage facilities at the small level, where small farmers are able to handle it. But when we come to reasons for its for this problem, mainly one is timely plucking or timely harvesting, because most of the farmers, it's a kind of when one starts, everyone starts. So which is the right time? They have their own knowledge, but when they shift to new crops, new varieties, then their old knowledge doesn't make real impact. Need to have some impact. So at that time, proper time of plucking, proper time of harvesting is very important. Then packing. Packing again, most of us, we use our locally available material. When the locally available material is used, that's heavy. It's a heavy size and as well as heavy weight. So transportation becomes difficult. Transport again, because most of the interior areas, they are not very well connected. So high volume products becomes very difficult to be able to reach to market. And biggest is storage, especially cold storage. We do not have facilities for storage. And even if there are facilities, they are not properly met. Because otherwise, when we see that most of our big storage, warehouses, they are at times empty. At the same time, there is produce which is available, but again, challenge is it's in a very, very small fraction. Need to have some kind of collective action. This is where an FPO comes. We are presently working on FPO model. CARD is supporting around 12 FPOs, and through these FPOs, we're trying to address this problem. And main first 3-4 actions which we take. One is training, especially training on better management, where everything from sowing to harvesting, these are concerned, especially the value chain, right, goes to market. Then second necessity is government-backed loans or subsidies, because you need to have storage at the village level, because otherwise you have storage at different far off places, but you are unable to take your produce. So need to have storage, for which government facilities need to be reached there. This is where an FPO can help. And third is there should be some scientific interventions to increase their shelf. So we're working on all these, including some experiment like small chambers, cooling chambers, etc. So these kind of work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sharma. And absolutely right. Milk in India has shown how there is a model towards aggregating and making sure something as perishable as milk, which has a few hours to shelf life, has been successfully made into a market-led model. It's heartening to know the work being done with FPOs, especially on perishables, fruits and vegetables. Moving to Ashwin. Ashwin, you mentioned how you have been connecting farmers with markets as well, but we also know how difficult it is to get farmers to adopt technology for the cost of technology. So just wanted to understand from you what financing or ownership models have worked best for you to ensure that farmers keep using your technology in the long run.
Hi, thanks for the question. So we work on a very unique asset financing model where we have tied up with various NBFCs as well as banks, where we have a tripartite agreement with the basically the farmers, and in particular we call them as micro entrepreneurs. All of them are women. So we have a tie up with them where we ensure the bank that if you provide a loan to these women entrepreneurs, we will provide them with the technology, we will provide them with the training, and we will also provide them with the raw material to process. And they just have to process it using the technology and training that we have provided. So they don't have to worry about procuring the raw material and keeping the supply chain full, as well as selling the finished good in the market. So here the banks are also very positive, banks and NBFCs, because they get a guarantee that this technology will be utilized properly and the livelihood will be created for the women entrepreneurs. So here we also tie up with various schemes from central as well as state government. For example, we try to avail 35% PMFME subsidy for our women entrepreneurs. Also, there is a provision for interest subvention with various schemes through NABARD, like Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, where almost 3% of interest subvention is provided through NABARD, through this Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. So practically, we try to reduce the loan burden as much as possible. Also, to ensure that EMI is paid on time, we have a structure where before paying the processing fees, we deduct the EMI, pay it to the bank, and then pay the balance processing fees to the women entrepreneurs. Here also, we ensure that the EMI amount will never go beyond 20% of the earning of the woman entrepreneur for that specific month. So this is the model on which we have worked, and we were able to install close to 4,500 processing units of solar dehydration as well as grain processing in last 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashwin. Very interesting to know how the blend of public and private funding has been leveraged towards making the technology more cost effective for, especially for women entrepreneurs, and the support from NBFCs and banks. That brings me to my next question for you, Nihar, from a perspective of an NBFC that Samunati also is. In your experience, what blend of financing and NBFC support do you think drives the fastest adoption of technology for loss reduction?
Thanks, Rutija, for your question. When it comes to finance, most of the farmers, entrepreneurs, they need capital, but I feel all the capitals must be performance-based, de-risked capital, so that liability could be grant, it could be some public state funding, from private sector funding, from fast loss guarantee scheme, something kind of insurance or green bonds that can accelerate financing. And third thing could be pay for results, like we can set some milestones for the entrepreneurs, those who want to go for infrastructure, we can reduce this percentage of loss, we can give this much of incentive, or bill financing or leasing model can be worked out. Apart from this financing, advisory also highly essential for these SMEs, farmers, always entrepreneurs. Particularly that should be embedded and continuous and contextual. Most of the entrepreneurs, they need capital, but they don't have an idea how much they need and what should be the percentage of how much cost benefit they're going to earn from this investment. So they have to know, if I'm investing something, how much my charges will be there, how much I can earn. So all these services, apart from finance, advisory services should be embedded with them. Moreover, capacity building plays a very important role apart from this. So apart from financing, capacity building, like targeted capacity building, how much loan package that could be embedded with these services. Moreover, government policy and advocacy regulatory that can be play a vital role, so that farmers as well as some entrepreneurs can come up forward to adopt all these infrastructures at their doorsteps. And moreover, some cases we can arrange some exposure visit, peer to peer learnings, so that they can learn fast and what are the new technology available and what can be best suitable for their need. These are some things. So in my view, 80% should be advisory and 20% should be finance. That could be a good blend for adapting all the infrastructure need. Thank you.
Thank you, Nihar. A very interesting point of how farmer-led showcases or cross-learning between farmers also serves a great deal towards faster adoption, where we show proof of concept. We have some questions already coming in the chat. I'll take a couple of them. Requesting participants to also type in their questions in chat if there are. So the first question, Rashri, from our audience is for you. we want to understand the cold and warm storages shown. Where are these currently located, and within this, within which supply chain, and why have they specifically been put in locations such as at the farm gate, in markets, etc.?
Okay, so this hot and cold is a kind of innovation introduced by a fellow who was working under SBI Youth for India Fellowship with BIF. But she and her father has the technical kind of background, and that is how they have come up with this innovation. I think what happens is many of places now cold storage, there is huge investment happening across villages through government schemes. So cold storage can be like electric one or solar based. But what is happening is there is excess heat. So that excess heat here in hot and cold technology, that excess heat is converted and that is used for a small room is created, and that excess heat acts as a dryer for the hot room is created and that acts as a dryer for preservation of vegetables, grains, fruits. So it increases a shelf life. And in case of grains, the claims are that it can also result into less pest attack and also maintaining the seed germination or viability. So that is one thing is circularity. Otherwise, that excess seed is just going and it is not put to any use. So there is a resource wastage. One is that, and second thing is for farmer, apart from the cold storage, they also want these potato seeds or a different type of seeds to be preserved. So I think this is what hot and cold technology we have set up 2 units. These are being performance is being monitored, and right now it is at our research center. Farmer level units are also there, but most of it is close to our research center to understand the performance. But I think such type of multi-purpose and resource efficient technologies are needed, looking at the needs that farmers have. So farmer doesn't have only single need of preservation of fruits and vegetables in cold storage. They also have some other need, and if we can use excess energy or excess heat this way, I think this is a very good example. So this is about hot and cold technology for which question is there. And that is also, it can be at the farm market level or it can be at farmer level. Anywhere it is possible to set it up. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, Rajshri, I lost your voice at the end. I think it was my.
Yeah. Yes, Rituja, I think others might have been able to.
So my apologies. So there was a second part to the question where it was asked that how do you select the location of putting in the infrastructures such as at farm gate or at market?
Yeah. So I have replied to that. So wherever the cold storage is there, I think alongside that we can have this kind of hot room. So wherever cold storage locations are there, most of the time it is at village level, and it can be also in between the market and village. So wherever we have those storage, there itself it is possible. So it will not be exactly at farm gate, but it will not be exactly at the market also. It can be in between.
Thank you. Thank you, Rashmi. The next question from our participant is for Ashwin. I think you have already answered, but if you could speak a little bit about it. The question is, can you explain a little bit more about the funding model for the intervention? For example, do farmers pay a small fee or commission, and is that currently subsidized at all?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we work on asset finance model, but as Niharji also mentioned that we need some soft capital to start with. So we also, when we started our model, we had funding from various developmental agencies as well as government agencies to try out the models to gain the confidence of the community. So I also agree completely with Niharji that some kind of soft capital is needed first to establish the model, and then we can go on onto the asset finance model, where we can gain more confidence. Once we have gained more confidence, and also it will also bring in some professionalism in the decentralized processing setup, so making it more sustainable in long run. So that's from my side.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope that answers the question. There is one more question. It's open to all panelists. In your experience, what kind of behavioral or decision-making barriers have you seen farmers facing when adopting new technologies? And what approaches have proven most effective in helping them overcome these challenges? So would someone volunteer to answer this?
I answer?
Maybe
Yeah,
Nihar or
yeah,
Dr. Sharma? Yes, of course, Dr. Sharma.
yeah,
Nihar is
please
going
go.
to start. Nihar, are you starting? Right.
Dr. Sharma,
Okay.
please go ahead. After you, I can.
Sure. In fact, it's a real situation that every time when we are going with something new, some innovation in a rural area, especially rural areas, then we have, it's not easy. People will not immediately accept. And rather, there are a group of people who's going to prove that this is wrong. And your technology or your adoption, everything, something new, it's a basic human nature everywhere. So in our approach, we work with the fixed FIG. It's a farmer interest. It's a group of, say, around 20 farmers, 25 farmers. And we have a lead farmer. Selection of lead farmer is very important. We take up a man who is used to take, who is known as an innovator, who has done something new. Every time some new technology has come, some new thinking has come, he's the one who volunteers. So this man becomes our lead farmer. So with this lead farmer, we start our experiment in a small way. There is always demonstration. Demonstration is something to prove. So we take farm and do our experimentation there. And after seeing, as we say, that seeing is believing, and doing is the best way of learning. So this is how other farmers they stop adopting. So instead of going for a bombarding immediately at the first year, do experiment with the lead farmers, with the leaders, and see the result, and then it will propagate immediately. That's
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. Nihar, would you want to add to this?
Yeah. When it comes to adoption of new technology, usually farmers see cost effectiveness and customization, whether these technology are addressing their local needs or not. Whenever coming up with a new technology, that may not be suit for everyone. So technology first needs to be customized for the local. Then some people wants to proof of concept. If we can demonstrate certain things, then can be easily replicated, easily adaptable by others. Or usually economics and economic is the major part which creates the challenge, or what do you say? That is the major challenge for the smallholder farmers or anyone, those who want to adopt any new technology or any infrastructure related things. As because huge money or investment has to be there. So end of the day, they need the return from that investment. So if we can ensure the investment versus return, then agility can be adaptable and it can be scalable.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. We have one more open question. How can smallholder Indian producers who lack access to electricity and cannot use refrigeration reduce their losses? So I think Ashwin, if you would want to maybe take a stab at this, and then anyone else, if you would want to add to this. For small farmers who don't have access to electricity and cannot use refrigeration, how do they reduce losses?
I think planning of the harvest is one of the most critical things. So there are many experiments going on in Maharashtra and around regarding the group farming, where the farmers decide what to plant, when to plant, and when to harvest. So it reduces the buffer stocking or buffer harvest in a very small window. And that is, I think that is a very non-technical kind of way to reduce the food losses. But other than that, using various renewable energy based technologies other than refrigeration, like we are doing with dehydration, is one of the common process, especially to preserve uh, the products with very low shelf life. That could be one of the options, and other panelists can also add to this.
Thank you. Would someone want to add to this?
Yeah, so I am Sagar. So basically, to answer this question, so we can go for the solar-based initiative. So basically, we can use the solar energy so to reduce the food waste and food process if the electricity problem.
Thank you. We are almost at time. We have a couple of minutes. We can maybe take one or two more questions if there are any. If not, then I just have one last question from my side to panelists, and if you could just answer it very, very shortly. What do you see? What are some of the policy unlocks or supports that supportive role that the government could play towards scaling up these innovations um, uh, for farmers? And just one or two points from each of you would be very appreciated.
Yes, Rituja, when it comes to policy, government has framed many policies like AIF, many PMF, many schemes are there, but that is not reaching well to the farmers. Most of the farmers not aware of the scheme. So whenever government comes up with in policy, that should be come into public domain, particularly creating awareness about the policies and as well as where they should get the information. That is the major primary challenge. Still, it is persisting across the India, particularly for farmers' perspective.
And yes, please, Dr. Sharma, were you trying to say something?
Yes, I think he's almost told. Yeah. But I feel in case of government loans and subsidies, when you approach through a network, say SHG or a FPO or a VO, it's a bit easy. But some individual, if an individual is to approach and get something, it's very, very. So maybe we don't have our network spread up at the last mile, at the last level. That can be one reason, but that is it. If you are not a member of these institutions, then access to finance is very.
I'd like to add one more point.
Yeah.
When it comes to financing, still banks are reluctant to provide finance to either FPOs, any SSG members until unless policy push is not there. When it comes to private sector lending, still banks are reluctant. So government policy should enforce so that bankers should come forward to lend smallholder farmers, FPOs, SSG members, or individual smallholder farmers.
Thank you. I really think along with the capacity building that all of you are doing with first farmers and producers, there also needs to be awareness around the schemes within the network of the people who are actually going to hand out the finances or make the schemes available at the rural level. Any last comments from any of our panelists?
Yeah, thank you very much for arranging all this.
Thank you. So then with that, I hand back to you, Anand.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ritoja. And many thanks to our speakers for sharing their experiences, their expertise. All of you are doing a really important work towards strengthening capacities of small and marginal farmers to reduce on-farm losses through your innovative solutions. And the point was well taken on how complex problems need very contextual solutions, especially when we're talking about advisory, knowledge, technology, finance. Those were really important points that, were discussed today. And I quite appreciate Ritoja's last question on what are, policy unlocks. So that leads me to also, welcoming all of you before we close this session today on the final, final webinar in this series that, we'll be discussing policy very deeply on what could be the gaps, therein. On that note, I would really like to also thank our participants and for, especially for enriching this discussion. Appreciate your participation and questions. Thank you so much. And I hope to, see all of you again in our final webinar. It's going to be held on 29th September, which is also going to be marking the International Food Loss and Waste Day. So thank you so much, and looking forward to see you, in our final webinar as well.
Could
And